Dusk, the reflective moment of a day spent, a card punched, the work done. Men, the world's image of strength, provider, a stubborn callous of putting in the work to reach the reward. Far too often that work falls short at our own health, to a hard-headed, no better, man-tested ignorance.
There's somebody out there who was where I was, and I want them to be where I am now.
Be a man, get it taken care of.
There's no need to be afraid. That's what the doctors are for.
This is a Men's Health Primetime Special, a reflective hour of getting the work done to save lives. Good evening. I'm Casey Jones. Let's talk men's health. Maybe you're a man at home who needs to pay more attention to what your body is saying, or maybe that's someone you love in your life. Tonight, we're going to hear the real, vulnerable, and personal stories from a group of West Michigan men. They'll share their battles with addiction, anger, anxiety, heart disease, diabetes, colorectal, and prostate cancer. A group of men who had the world ahead of them before disease caught up. They'll help equip you with what signs they listened to and which ones they ignored, and they'll share actionable steps you can take to help save yourself or help save someone that you love. We're at the Henchman House here in Grand Rapids, a barber shop, a place where intimate details are shaved away and shared in a chair that leaves men looking good, feeling good, shared with a barber like Tommy Rodriguez, the owner of the Henchman House, who's helping us through our close-cut conversation. Tommy, what's up, man? Good to see you.
Good to see you, boss. How you been?
Great, really good. Yeah.
It's nice having you back in, man.
Hey, thanks for having me in.
How can I help you out today?
Let's talk men's health, right?
Talking men's health. Yeah.
Seems like a good spot. I mean, this chair, you hear a lot in this chair that I'm sure a lot of men don't share with a lot of people.
Yeah, well, the barbershop's quite the safe space for people to have those conversations. You know, when someone walks in that door, you really never know what they're gonna go through. And at the end of the day, this can be quite the escape for somebody.
It feels like guys are good at finding a healthy escape, like watching the game, mowing the lawn, coming into a barber shop, but it's when it's unhealthy, when we start self-medicating, that's a problem. You know that men are more likely to become addicted to drugs or alcohol, and we're more likely to OD on drugs?
Substance abuse is no joke, man. You know, it can definitely bring you to a very dark, dark place. And it can happen to anybody, and definitely have an effect on them and their family.
This is West Michigan's Morning News on Wood Radio. I'm Steve Kelly. Bottom of the hour news continues now.
Where do you sit? So you're the father, right? You're the one that tells everybody that everything's okay. Where do you sit when your family is in the living room and you're about to tell them everything's okay and we're going to fix it? Where do you sit in the room when you tell your family you've ruined your life and you have no idea what's going to happen next? I sat in a footstool. There was a perfect storm with my childhood and my adulthood, with my mental health issues, and I became an alcoholic. Alcohol was always different with me from the first time that I tried it. I think everybody would always tell you that Steve was a party boy, and I think a lot of us start that way. Eventually, you're running behind the train. There was a good long time when it singularly called the shots. And somehow during that time period, I appear to be engaged in pictures. People that listened to me on the radio didn't know it. Family members had no idea. My goal was not to get blackout drunk. My goal was to stay as medicated as I thought I needed. It was as bad as it gets. I don't know how close I was to getting kicked out of the house. I know that my physical health suffered. I know that the roulette game of sneaking alcohol was at an amazing pace. The terror of worrying about where the next drink would come from was as scary a feeling as I've ever felt in my life. Anybody that knows an alcoholic or an addict knows our amazing ability to lie. And I was an amazing liar, even to myself. The stress of that secret life was actually the thing that was making me sick. I was going into 4 different liquor stores. I was paying alternatively with cash and credit cards and side money that I'd hide because my wife did the bills. I was a functioning alcoholic. It changed my relationship with everyone because the most important thing to me was alcohol.
Storm teammate Terry DeBoer and the forecast now.
Alcoholics will tell you, and when you get into treatment, you begin to know that you're different when your bad drinking days never get better. So you go from thinking this medicine is helping you to this poison calling the shots. And it is simply those two things. My alcoholic low came after a liver biopsy, and we found out that I had alcoholic liver disease. And in Dr. Camel's office, in front of my wife, after I'd snuck a few that morning, he said, "You will stop drinking or you will die." And my first question was the most telling of them all. What if I change what I drink? The fear of getting rid of the shield that I thought I was putting up against all of that anxiety, the vulnerability of that trauma that I couldn't stop playing in my head was more terrifying than the idea of dying. Most of us do. Most of us who are addicted or are alcoholics die young. It's a decision to get help. It's a decision to say you don't want to drink anymore. And that's when the true healing begins. For me specifically in my recovery, I needed to go about the business of discovering what was causing me to medicate. That came almost purely through years of therapy, hard work, honest work in therapy that saved my life. By the grace of God, mental health and physical health professionals, the accountability of groups like AA and friends that have gone before me, I can say that I've been sober for over 8.5 years. Knowing now what I know, I don't know how I needed it in the first place. Everything in my life is better without it. My relationships are better. My health, my physical health is better. The biggest farce about addiction is that it is confused with a problem with character. We overemphasize the importance of choice. Alcoholics don't have a choice. Addicts don't have a choice. But there's still help. And when that is interrupted, they get better. The message is no matter how low down you think you are, no matter how unworthy you think you are worthy of God's love, and that there is help, and that there is hope, and that it is never too late. And you God adores you and puts you on this earth. Get the help that you deserve.
Well, one thing he said was that I don't care who knows I'm an alcoholic as long as I never forget.
You know that 20% of American men struggle with alcohol dependence? That is 1 in 5 men in this country. And I love what you said about Steve's story is that, you know, they have to be the ones to seek help. And no matter where they are in their journey, there is help and there is hope.
Yeah, they have to be the ones.
But if you don't have control of it, it can kill you.
Still to come, two of the biggest health risks men face, diabetes and heart disease. Two men, both pushed to death and live to tell their journeys.